Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 11th through the 17th. And during that time, we will have a full moon that comes in on the 12th, and that can be a time of heightened emotions. We can be prone to being overwhelmed or anxious, snappy, irritable, or if not us, maybe others around us. So you could have some changes in your sleeping patterns. That's something that I experience. So it's a really good time for us to practice patience and calm, and like just remember, if before you go to bed, have that cup of sleepy time tea or something to just calm you a little more than usual. But then we move into the waning gibbous energy. And of course, that's a time of self reflection and rebirth. That, intensity of that full moon energy kind of starts to wind down. You have the potential to grow, get rid of negative habits and negative thinking. So please keep those moon energies in mind as you move through your week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Scorpio. So, as always, keep that in mind and take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. All right, your overall message card is work through your fears. All right, let's see what the Scorpio Collective has going on for this week. And as I'm shuffling the tarot, I would like to say, since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button. And if you like the reading, maybe even the like button. So it really helps my channel, and it's super, super easy for you to do. So I will give you just a moment as I'm shuffling to do that right now. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and helping me build a community here. I see you and I appreciate you. So thank you so much. Also, my fun weekly reminder for the week is that you learn something new this week. Pick a topic that you've had some interest in and just really take the time to do a deep dive and focus on it. Even if you can just set aside an hour or two just to really study, take notes, really think and absorb the thing that you've learned. Oftentimes, as adults, we kind of, we're learning all the time, but we forget to kind of do those deep dives and really just focus in on something. So that's just my fun, friendly reminder for the week for you. All right, Scorpio, May 11th through 17. Work through your fears. Let's see what you guys have going on. All right, Page of Cups. So, something you're working through in the way of emotions, maybe. Page of Cups is our, I think it's the most humorous page in the deck, but it's about emotions. Here we're dealing with cups, and we're dealing with kind of a new way of dealing with something. So there could be something that you're fearful of. Maybe you're trying to use humor to get through it, which is fine. Let's see what else is going on here. So your current situation is the Six of Swords. So looks like you're moving kind of into something new. This is moving into a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new way of communicating. So there's some sort of change that's happening. It's happening in very calm waters. It's nothing to be, really freaked out about. But again, if you're working through fears, it could be something that's kind of just in there, like, oh, I'm moving towards this new thing, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm a little, a little afraid of it. You're kind of using humor like to get through it. So let's see what else the cards have to say. At the root of this situation is the Lover's card. So this could be new territory, Scorpio, in a relationship that you're in. And it could be that maybe you're trying to take this to the next level. You want to move to the future in a different way, and that you're a little fearful or a little, just there's some fear there. So we'll see. This could be a new relationship that you're kind of moving forward. It could be a relationship for some of you that you've been in a relationship, but you want to move it to a new level. And there's just a fear maybe of speaking up or saying what's on your mind. So let's see. In your recent past, is that things have been happening very quickly here with the Eight of Wands. So looks like there's been some sort of change that's come in. And this could just be internal change with you that's brought you to this place where you're like, you know what, I want to make new changes. I want to move forward in a different way. I'm not, hopefully a more positive way. And and it is a little more fearful. This could be, for some of you, it's the next step in dating. It's kind of moving things to that next level. For some of you, it could be getting married is the next step for you. For some of you, you're already married, but maybe having a child is the next step for you. It's just how those life things progress. For some of you, you could be divorced and you've met someone new, and now this is a whole fear thing because you're just moving forward in a whole new way. So, again, tarot is a template, so it applies to different situations in different ways. So do keep that in mind. But that fear is there. It's like it's something new, and it's a little. I mean, that could be exciting too. But you're going to work through those things. What is on your mind this week? Is yeah. I mean, here's the Four of Wands. So are some of you moving closer to marriage? Or some of you, moving closer to, moving your relationship to that level? Or some of you kind of redoing your vows, like a renewal? So yeah, that's definitely on your mind. And it's, this is about passion and love and coming together. And I think it's very sweet. Whatever's going on with you, I'm not getting a negative feeling at all. I'm just getting this feeling of sweetness, and that this fear that whatever is happening is just take a breath, take a breath. You're going to work through it. And if you're having, fears about certain things, maybe write those things down. Scorpios, you guys can be very intense anyway. And so maybe they're not fears that most of us are having. It's just kind of the way your personality is set up. The things are very intense for you. And it could be something that doesn't affect another sign, that does affect you a little bit more deeply. So write those things down and get them off your chest for sure. In what is just ahead of you is the Five of Wands, which is a little bit of debate. This doesn't have to be fighting, but this is maybe kind of, look at all the wands that are coming up here. The wands are about our passion, the things that really drive us, what's fire. So, whatever debate is coming up, and this could be a debate about how things move forward, that maybe your person wants to move in together and you're like, wait a minute, let's discuss all of those things, and let's get, you know, what is your morning routine versus what is my morning routine, and how are we going to meld those together, as a couple, if we live together, or if we get married, where will we live, what is the living, so there's all those things that get debated and talked about, and that's okay as you're merging your life together. Those are very important things that you need to do, and you do need to work through. You might have a fear that, you might like to get up early in the morning and have your coffee alone, and your partner is not a morning person, or they're a talking morning person. So those are all those little debate things, like how will we work this out? So you can work through all of those things for sure. In your advice position, okay, is the Nine of Cups here. So the advice is to go ahead and kind of indulge in this, to indulge in this, working through all of this. You're just going to have to do it. You need to jump in and do it. And it's going to be good for you. I think you're going to come out of the other side of this learning more about yourself, more about your partner, and more about just where you are in your life. So the advice is to go ahead and do it. Indulge yourself in engaging in all of this, if that makes any sense. What is beyond your control this week is the Star card. So you're definitely moving in the right direction. You're on course. You're having these fears creep up, but you're going to indulge in asking the right questions and getting the right information, just to make sure that, that intensity level that you have is, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? That it's kind of justified. You might even want to talk to friends and, just kind of check yourself against some other people too. Make sure that you're not being so intense that, other people will be like, why are you worried about that? So, and hopefully you have those kind of friends in your life that are not like you. That's the best kind of friends to have, right? What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid is the Three of Wands. So this is our card of travel, new ventures. Are you trying to avoid a new venture or moving forward in a new way? Or is it your secret desire? And that's your big question of the week. I mean, and that seems obvious to me. Look at all the wands. I mean, we almost have all of them out, right? So this is a question of passion for you. And you need to ask yourself that question, is it my secret desire to move forward, in a new passionate way, or am I trying to just kind of maintain the status quo? This could also be the card of travel, and maybe that is kind of a next step in your relationship. Maybe Are we going to take a vacation together? It's something that's new for your relationship. So lots of things to think about here. In your outcome position is the Knight of Wands. So this is action in the way of passion. Look at all the wands on the table. That's really amazing. That's why I love tarot. So this whole week for you is about using your humor as all of these passion things come in for you in these debates. And it does seem to be relationship related. And as you move toward the future, we've got a couple of cards here where, look, the back, you're thinking about the future. We've got two there doing that. We've got a lot of debate. We're indulging ourselves. And then the Knight of Wands is our action card. There's going to be action here, whether you like it or not. So again, it's okay to talk to a friend and kind of compare notes and be like, look, I'm worried about this thing moving forward. Should I be? Would you be worried? Just kind of get that sort of advice. What is hidden from you this week, Scorpio? Are many choices. So very interesting. So you don't have as many choices as maybe you'd like, and maybe that's why you're kind of feeling cornered and feeling like you need to use your sense of humor to kind of deflect a little bit of this. But again, you're working through your fears, and action is inevitable. It's inevitable that this is going to move forward, I believe. So I can really get that sense of fear, but it's almost like also happiness and excitement, but that fear is there. So you're just going to have to work through that. And again, if you can do that on a piece of paper, if you can do that with a friend, just maybe seek some sort of advice about that. Is it really, list out the things that's causing you fear, things that you're afraid of, and try to find out if those things are justified, right? You want to indulge in that, and you want to take that time to really question those things, but some of them that could be a little bit irrational, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay, let's get, oops, hit the camera there. Let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Claim your art. So what is your art? There's more passion, fire on that finger there. Is your art passion? Are you passionate about something there? And have faith. Okay, I'm going to say, yeah, it's going to work out. You're going to have action. What is this art that you are claiming? What is your way of going about this when it comes to passion? You've got to think about your way of doing it, but also, again, I'm going to say, don't be irrational. Don't be so intense about something that maybe someone else would not be quite as intense about, and understand that it's your nature to kind of work things out in that manner, but you need to be rational as well, Scorpio. So Scorpio, I wish you the best of luck with the situation. If you're comfortable leaving a comment, let me know down below what it is that you're going through, when it comes to your relationship and passion. And, are some of you taking things to the next level? Then, and what is that? Are you, where are you getting married? Are you moving in together? Are you, maybe renewing vows, like I said? So it could be different for all of you, but if you're comfortable sharing, let me know. Also, I do post every week, so feel free to come back next week. We'll see if this situation evolves or if there's a totally new energy here for you. And if you like my reading style, please like and subscribe. It'll help you find me next week, and that's very important. So thanks so much, Scorpio. Good luck with this, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.